What's going on, everyone? Lonnie Walker is everyone's favorite Laker, right? This year, he really stood out. He signed one of those deals, kind of like Malik Monk, where it was like that prove it deal. He wanted the bright lights, the spotlight. He wanted that shine so he could hopefully go get a bigger, better contract. 24 years old, 6'4" in height. He's got like a 7-foot wingspan. He isn't great defensively. He did have some good moments, and he does have all the tools. And I would love to see him continue to work hard and develop that defensive side of things. But he had a solid season for the Lakers. Now, he finished the year with the Lakers averaging 12 points per game. But he, for the good majority of the first half of the season, was averaging around like 16 and a half points per game. He was one of the big bright spots in the beginning of what was just a very miserable season. But solid all around. Vacuum scorer by like every sense of it. He played 56 games for the Lakers, started 32 of them, played about 23 minutes per game, shot 45% from the field and 37% from three, and had some great moments. I mean, that Golden State series in the playoffs, right? He was brilliant for that. He had that game where he just took over in the fourth quarter and was massive for the Lakers. And he's a guy that many people want to see come back to the Lakers. Now, more likely than not, he's probably going to go elsewhere, but there is the potential. So the Lakers don't have the bird rights on Lonnie Walker, but they can offer him just under $8 million a year with the non-bird, right? So that is something that may very well be close to his market. There's reports that have came out that his projected market is in the like 5 to 10 million range. I've even said some that say he's around 7 to 8 million. So if he's in that, like, 7 to 8 million range for most teams, then he can make just as much with the Lakers, and the Lakers could keep him. The problem is how much playing time and whatnot is he going to play, right? So the Lakers have to figure out what are they going to do with D'Angelo Russell. If they keep D'Lo, then he's starting. Then you have Austin Reeves. So there's your starting point guard and shooting guard. And then beyond that, you're going to have your backups. Well, you got Max Christie now, and he's very likely going to step into a role, and he's picked up in size at 6'7". And yes, he could probably play small forward for you now because he is 6'7", but you also have Jared Vanderbilt, you have, Rui Hachimura, you have LeBron James, and yes, like Rui and LeBron could play the four, but like what are the Lakers going to look to bring in, right? Like that's the real question. And we already saw Lonnie kind of fall out of favoritism and kind of fall out of the rotation entirely. And then come the playoffs, who does he play over depending on who's on the roster? Also, who do the Lakers draft with the 17th pick? So yes, maybe he plays this year, but is he a guy that can stay on the court for the foreseeable years? Again, that's a real question. And I know a lot of people really like Lonnie Walker, but he does have his flaws, right? At times he gets really bad tunnel vision. He hasn't seen a shot that he doesn't like. Defensively, he can just be very just bad defensively, which is a real problem, right? You want guys that can play two-way. His ability to get to the basket and score and, knock down the mid-range, shoot the ball off the dribble, knock down the three, play off the ball, all of those things, they're huge. He's a 3-level scorer, right? But he's still very raw in many ways. He still needs to get a little more refined, a little more under control. He kind of can be reckless and out of control at times when it comes to just his scoring. But he is a guy that's willing to put in the work and work hard. I would like to see him really work hard on the defensive end. He has all the tools and intangibles. He's got the length, he's got the quickness, he's got the athleticism, he's got the strength. Like, he has everything he needs to be an elite defender. I don't necessarily need him to be an elite defender, but I need him to be good enough to where you don't have to worry about that. So he had a defensive rating of 117. League average is 115. So he is 2 points worse than league average. That's not good, right? Like that's not like he was our worst defensive player on the Lakers this year. And so can he improve in that area? If he can, then I think you keep him around, right? I think he's a guy that has a lot of value, especially if he can be a quality two-way player. Because the problem is when he's not scoring, he doesn't really provide much else. And that's a real issue, right? Like when he's not scoring, like what else does he do? He doesn't play defense. He's not a good playmaker. Like so he either has to be hitting or he can't really play at all. And yes, at least he can get to the basket, get to the free throw line. So like he's more playable than like a Malik Beasley that we saw, right? Like Malik Beasley, when Malik's not hitting, he's not good defensively and he doesn't provide anything else. And he's not very good at just getting to the basket and scoring. Where Lonnie, he could just put the ball on the deck and just go generate baskets. There's also the bit of redundancy, right? Because yes, Lonnie is great at getting to the hoop and doing those things, but you have a lot of guys like that already, right? You got LeBron, you got Austin Reeves, you got Rui Hachimura, even D'Angelo Russell. If they keep and bring back Dennis Schroeder, you have Dennis Schroeder that can do that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how much of a need is he and what other options are out there, right? It also comes down to Lonnie Walker himself. If Lonnie Walker doesn't feel like he's going to get the play time or if he can get money elsewhere, then he's going to go elsewhere. So I think it's going to be dictated primarily on the market, right? If it's similar, then I think he stays with the Lakers, right? If, say, a team's like, hey, we'll bring you in, we'll pay you $7 million a year, and we want you to be our seventh guy, eighth guy on the roster, then I think he looks at it as like, I might as well just stay in LA because that's what I'm going to be in LA, right? And I'll get the same amount of money. So I might as well just stay here. Unless he believes that he can outbeat some of the guys on that roster, stuff like that. I mean, Lonnie Walker was a very nice, pleasant surprise, right? In a time where the Lakers were abysmal, and I mean, there is the argument of like, was he a good scorer on a bad team type thing, which is a fair argument because the Lakers were pretty bad. But I think he is that. We saw him have those moments in that Warrior series. Now he was pretty bad in the Denver series. So again, that kind of goes into the consistency. We need him to be consistent. We need him to have better shot selection, be willing to move the ball a little bit more. He's got, and defensively, if he can just become a serviceable defender, again, not elite, not great. Can he get to average at least? Right? Because again, he's a 117. Can he get to 115, which is league average? Or like a 114? Right? Again, he has the tools, he has the length, he has the athleticism, he has everything you need to be an elite defender. And we saw him in that Warriors series play excellent defense. Excellent defense. Where it was like, man, where was this all year? Like, where was this level of defense? If he played this level of defense all year, he wouldn't have fallen out of the rotation. Because he was playing great. He was rotating great. He was moving his feet great. He wasn't getting bumped off. He was fighting over screen. He was just playing really good defensively. And so that's what it comes out. We know he can score. We know he can go get a bucket. The Lakers haven't had problems scoring though, right? They haven't he needs to find that consistency on both sides of the ball. He's still a project. He's still a guy that needs to be developed, needs to get worked on. Luckily, again, he's 24, not 34, right? Or even 27. So you could spend the next 2-3 years getting him right and getting him in the position that you want him to be on both sides of the ball, and then have a real gem on your roster, right? Have a real like, oh wow, no, he's a real two-way player. He's a real elite, great type of player. That's definitely something that would be nice. But is that like, can he? Because there's just some guys that you just see and you're just like, how is this guy a bad defender? Like it doesn't make any sense. And but for whatever reason they just are. They're not willing to put that commitment in. They're not willing to stay focused on the defensive end. Like all of those things. Like he can shoot the three ball. That's great. He can put the ball on the deck and get to the hoop. That's great. But can he? I mean, him scoring 15 a game is awesome. But if he's giving up 20, then it doesn't do anything for us, right? So I'd like to see him work on that. But if the Lakers bring him back, I'm all for it. I would love it. Bring him back, right? Hopefully he can get into the rotation. That's kind of my concern is like, who does he play over? Where does he fit? At some point you got to play Max Christie. And Max Christie, we know already is a great defender. So it's just like, where does he fall and where does he lie? But if they let him go, personally, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it either way. But I'd like to see him get a chance. I'd like to see him get a shot and really kind of see if he can blossom and grow into his into one of those like premier two-way guys, right? Because again, he's still very young. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you think like, yeah, keep him, have him grow, have him, develop under the Lakers brand? Do you think no? Let him go look elsewhere. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.